podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Bigger will look to pick it up and he'll go on here. There's two up here, Bradford. It's Bigger. He's got to make this count. It's Bigger. It's 1-1.
Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to Forest Green Rovers vs Bradford City pre-match chat here. But I'm just going to say something before we get this going. So on the podcast last week, the other day, we had someone basically come on and saying how stuff has been affecting the family. Well, people have been trolling the family, abusing the family and stuff like that. And other people, it's been happening to other people, just saying it's bang out of order. And if the shoe was on the other foot, you would probably not like it. And also, if you get caught doing it, you probably could get sent down or other stuff could happen. So just a friendly warning, guys and girls. Don't do it, because it's not very good and it could affect people's mental health and stuff as well. So that's out of the way. Right. So Forest Green versus Bradford City. So the game kicks off tomorrow, the 28th of November 2023 at 7:45 p.m. at the Bolt New Lawn Stadium. And the referee is Simon Mather. And looking at Simon Mather's stats, in League One he's given 6 appearances, he's given out 32 yellow cards, 7 red cards. In League 2, he's had 4 appearances, he's dished out 16 yellow cards, no red cards. And in League 1, he has given one appearance. One appearance, he's given 7 yellow cards and no red cards. Bradford City are currently 14th in the league on a goal difference of 23 points. And they've played 19 games. Forest Green are right at the bottom, 18th, 18 games played and on 15 points. So today we've got Miss Callie, should hopefully be here.
I am here. I am full of cold, but I'm here.
Oh, makes a change.
Shut up, you.
And then we've also got Stan, who always sits on the fence. So he should be here as well. And we have got Miss Diane, who always has to watch out where she's walking. Okay. Right, so guys and girls, let's start off. So Stan, what's your thoughts on the Bradford City situation at the minute?
Well, I don't know if there's anything happened today, but just good result on Saturday. I think it says a lot that there could have been quite a few contenders for the man of the match. So it's good to see. Let's take that into tomorrow night and get a good result down at Forest Green.
Are you going tomorrow, Stan?
I was going to do, but I'm busy with work, so I've got stuff on, so I can't shift. So no, I'm not going. Short answer. I will be watching it on iFollow.
I'm going down. I'm just going down for the food. I love my food. I'm going down for the chips and curry sauce. It's really nice down there. Chips and curry sauce. Would highly recommend it.
Not vegan style.
Vegan style, mate. You can't go wrong with vegan stuff.
Oh,
You can. No, you can, Johnny. You really can.
You don't knock it if you've not tried it before. It's lovely.
I used to live with a vegan. I know.
All right, fair dues. Right, Miss Callie, who's currently full of cold and hopefully not speaking like a Dalek.
Oh no, I just sound like I'm talking down my nose a bit. I've even rung in sick to work tonight. I'm not even well enough to go to work.
Oh, have a word with yourself, woman. God, it's a bit of a cold. God.
No, I'm absolutely dying. My eyes and my nose are streaming like mad. I just need a bit of sympathy. I've come in here for sympathy and I get nothing.
Is it man flu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be out for days then, Callie.
I will. In fact,
You'll have to get a bell.
I've only got tomorrow to work and then I'm off till Sunday, so there's no point going in tomorrow, is there?
Happy days.
Bloody hellfire skull. I was.
Apparently, guys, man flu is a thing because men do suffer with it worse. It's to do with it's to do with women deal with it better because of estrogen levels or something like that. There is actually scientific evidence that proves that. But
It proves that men are wimps and women are superior. That's what you needed to say, really, isn't it?
well, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But
So we've gone from talking to Forest Green to loose men/women now.
It just shows how much of a good little group we've got going on, doesn't it, when we can chat about anything?
definitely. So I'll open that out then to everyone. What's everyone's thoughts then with regards to tomorrow? What do we think?
I thought you were going to on about man flu.
I know, I did.
Oh, let's open the panel up to man flu. What's the situation on man flu?
I think we're slowly building. I think we're going the right way now, if I'm honest. I think Graham's getting them sorted out. I think they're playing as a bit more of a team. I think I know it's like at the beginning of the season. I think the team's starting to gel again now. Who's laughing at me?
Is that Tony? Yeah. Tony, are you laughing?
No, I just got a tickle.
Oh God, what tickle have you got?
No, I just got a tickle at the back of my throat.
All right, we'll move on from that.
Anyone else then, Diane?
Tickly cough.
What do you think?
I think.
Go.
Yeah. Although I didn't watch that. I was there, but I didn't watch it.
No, you're on Concourse, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you.
All game.
Yeah.
Hold on, all game?
Yeah. I watched it on telly.
How come you didn't make it to your seat?
Because it were on telly and beers were flowing.
Ah, so it was more warm in the concourse, is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, I wouldn't say it were warmer, no. I wouldn't say it were warmer. But we did look good. Because they want a bad side, to be fair, coming into that game on Saturday. But I thought the back three, I thought Ash Taylor had a decent game for once.
Mm.
Well, bits I saw, but I think, like Charlie says, it's great. It will take a bit of time, but I think he's starting to gel a good side there, and I was glad for Cook because he had somebody up front with him, which took a bit of pressure off him.
So we've had Chris Naylor, who CN Bantams underneath. He just put, we've got to kick on tomorrow, get a decent result, and more importantly, another clean sheet. 100% agree there, bud, with you.
Yeah, I agree.
So
another
Diane,
performance by Brad Halliday, mind.
He's a top player though, Halliday.
He always was.
He's getting better and better every game. I
sang his praises all last season. I don't get how people were critical of him last year. I can't get my head around that. But
he's been our most consistent player this season. His truth been on.
Just trying to see if there's any team news or anything out for tomorrow because I've not seen anything.
Andy Cook and Harry Lewis last season for me as well.
What about you, Dan? Have you got any thoughts, love?
Well, for tomorrow night, I think hopefully we'll beat them as usual. And if we stick with what we played on Saturday and how we played, it should be a good game for everybody.
Bang on, yep. And do you think there'll be any changes tomorrow, guys? Or do you think it'll just stick as it is?
I don't see how we can change it. You can't change a winning team unless there's injuries.
You got to think of like quick turnaround. I'm sure he sort of alluded to that at the weekend or before the weekend. About players being left out. And, you don't need wholesale changes, but maybe one or two changes to keep it fresh and keep your key players. Maybe the ones that, kind of would need the odd rest now and again. But, the one thing I've always said is I don't care what formation, what team we play, as long as it's the correct team for the game and we play well, basically.
Would you change out, Stan? Would you?
Well, it's interesting because it depends what shape he goes with, what he kind of sees, how we're going to get the better of Forest Green, because obviously Bobby was left out, and Bobby's been one of the best players as well this season. But you kind of like, well, okay, how do you fit him in to that sort of side? Because obviously he's playing like a 3-5-2 rather than a 4-2-3-1. So with the wing backs going forward, Jamie's kind of like got that free role that him and Brad had a really good partnership on Saturday. But him, Brad, and Bobby have had like a good little sort of triangle going on for quite a few games. So you kind of it's who you'd leave out in that sense. But I would like to see the lad Tomkinson, because I think it's good to see Kelly like a left-footed defender on that side. Platt's done all right, and Ash Taylor had actually a good game on Saturday. But I'd like to see somebody like Tomkinson maybe come in the middle. And because what we don't have is mobility in that back three, Saturday's back three. But I think with Tomkinson in there, I think he would kind of be that sort of that pivot and that somebody who's mobile but can bring the ball out as well. What about yourself, Tony? Would you change it?
Personally, no, because I always got told, even when I played football a lot of years ago, we were always told never change a winning team. But like you say, I know what you're saying. Different game, they'll have different tactics. So you try to counteract it. I can't see who you could drop from Saturday really. But there again, you don't know what Alexander's. But I agree with you. I'd like to see this Tomkinson from Norwich play, because apparently he's a bit like Critchlow in the Critchlow mould.
Well, the full game he played against Man City. I know it's kind of Man City under 21s, but you can only go for what you've seen. And he looked mobile. He looked reasonably quick. He was decent enough in the air. Not that Man City were ever going to pose problems in the air. But he, so I think it's like horses for courses. But I think ultimately, if we can kind of integrate him for the rest of the season and sort of change it about a bit, I have no problem with that. But yeah, because obviously when you think of it, guys, as well, we've got so many options. It's been mentioned with the bloated squad, but if you can kind of, you see what Parky did really well was he would kind of change it a little bit. He would bring in players for the odd game that kind of gets them up to speed, so that when you actually need those players, they can go straight into a side, having played 2 or 3 games here and there, and basically kind of sort of just fit in and not be behind the rest of the team. I think it's a difficult one, because I agree to a certain degree that you try and keep a settled side in terms of that, but I think I have no problem with changing a side for the picking a side for the game, for the opposition, if that's how you do it. I've no problem with that.
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I just think that the longer they can stick together and play together, I think it can only be good for them.
Yeah, definitely, and I think as well you've got to find that sort of balance, haven't you? Because I think towards the back end, because we didn't have the squad depth, but I think a few players back in the last season ran out of legs, whether it was just not running out of legs as such, but just maybe that intensity, or maybe they were carrying niggles, and we didn't have that. But we had Harry Chapman come off the bench on Saturday, looking lively, and so it's like, where would you, if you're playing like a 2 up front, who would say, for example, you want to rotate it, or Smith's got a knock. And this is open. I'll start with you, Tony, but it's open to anyone else. Who would you put up front alongside Andy Cook if we're going to play 2 up front?
I would probably say Smith, because Smith's doing pretty well at the minute. Oliver's coming back from injury, I would stick with Smith. He's playing well. He's scoring goals.
Anyone other than Tyler Smith? Sorry, I meant.
You couldn't play Oliver because him and Cook are identical players. They're both target men. So I don't think that would work.
How many strikers have we actually got at the club? Where's my football app? There it is. Football. So on the pitch, men's first team player files. So striker wise, midfielder strikers. We've got Andy Cook, Tyler Smith, Oliver, Bobby Poynton, Matt Derbyshire, and Adam Wilson. And oh my lord, names what I can't pronounce. Af Connor and Tuluk.
Oh, he's from West Brom, that right? Yes, he's disappeared into wilderness, hasn't he, Ryan Tulloch?
Yeah, I think it goes on training stuff like that. If they do crap in training, they could do one crap ball and be like, "Yeah, you're not starting tomorrow."
You just never know, do you?
You know, changing all the time out there.
I think though, what you were sort of mentioning, they were like forward players rather than strikers, or kind of like number 10s, or just like a second striker. Really, I'm talking. The question was regarding like if Tyler Smith, say, he's dropped to the bench or he's just got a knock or whatever. Who would you put up specifically in that position? Now, you've mentioned Oliver, which I agree. Obviously, you wouldn't put them two together, would you? But so from that, you know, you do have options, and you've got whoever, you know, who's in the building at the moment. You've got Chapman, Walker that could play in that role, Darbs, but Darbs obviously I don't think has got a 90 in him, really, has he? So
no, yeah.
So and as well, come January, what will you guys do to the squad? Because we will have Jake Young coming back. Hopefully we'd have Ryan East coming back. We'd have Timmy coming back. It's a bit of a headache for Alexander. Do you think he's going to... Now, bearing in mind, I've said, well, I don't think it's that easy to get rid of people, but what do you think will happen, guys?
I think we'll personally bring in a new goalkeeper, because looking at the team again, let me get it back on. Profiles, there is. So we've got Harry Lewis, Colin Doyle, and Heath Richardson, who's currently out on loan. And like we were saying last time, if Harry Lewis has a bit of a naff game, there's no one there to replace him apart from Colin Doyle. Colin Doyle's knocking on a bit now. I know he's there as player coach, but I would probably suggest go for a better backup. So bring a better backup into the club. And then, like, looking at the defence, I know Ash Taylor's played well. Sam Stubbs playing okay. Kelly's playing well. We got, I think, I can't pronounce games again. I'll just call him Okie Koki. But I reckon he'll probably going back to Brentford if he's hurt himself and gone for surgery. So that'll be one less player there. Midfield. We've got not a bad midfield. Like when you say Ryan East comes back. And then obviously Kevin McDonald when he's 100% fit. I don't know what's actually happened to him, but he's disappeared a bit. And we've got quite a lot of strikers, but we need someone who can, like Matt Derbyshire, for example. I know he's knocking on the bit now, but has he even scored for Bradford yet, apart from pre-season?
Not in this
question. Not in this league. I don't think he has. No.
So, how do you see things going in, guys? You know, with regards, what do you suppose Graham Alexander might do with regards to how the squad? I mean, let's say between now and January or mid-January, do you think he'll kind of try other players out in games? Because seemingly he's learning who he can and can't rely on at this stage through games rather than just training alone. What do you think? I
agree with you on that, Stan. With training like the training and stuff and giving players game time. It's like when we were getting battered by Notts County the other day, and he took off Taylor and somebody else.
Pointing.
And then he brought on, who did he bring on? Richardson and someone else he brought on.
Good question.
He moved Gillian further forward, didn't he? With Jamie Walker. He brought, I'm trying to think, did he bring Tyler Smith on? No, because he started, didn't he? So, oh gosh, for life of me, I can't remember now the second half, but he changed the shape, didn't he, to what we've played.
Yeah.
Who did he bring on? So, looking on FootMod, he brought on Kieran Kelly and Matty Platt and Adam Wilson. So he then took off, Taylor and Richard, no, not Taylor. Taylor and Poynton came off.
That's right.
And then he brought on Kelly, Platt, and then he brought on Adam Wilson later on. So that strengthened the defence. And then if we go back to the game on Saturday just gone, against Declan Stanley, he had his back. Oh, he had a back three. Platt, Taylor, Kelly.
Yeah. He played Halliday and as a wing back, didn't he?
Yeah, Richardson wing back as well.
Yeah.
Smallwood, Walker, Smith, Cook, Gilead. That is a strong team. And I think, like, I know we've discussed it in past podcasts and spaces about dinosaur formations, 4-4-2, but like looking at that now, I think it's like 5-2-3, not 5-2-3, yeah, 3-4-3 in it is played there. And he did well with subs as well, bringing subs on. So I think we're getting there slowly, game by game.
I think as well, the one thing I couldn't get my head round at the start of the season when people were saying that Brad is not a wing back. I mean, he's pretty much played that role all last, not like specifically wing back, but he's a full back that gets forward. I never understood the kind of the observation that he never got forward or anything like that. I think he was one of the most influential going forward, definitely, and he definitely suits him in this role now as well.
Yep. So I'm seeing if there's any more team news, because
where would you put Jake Young if he come back?
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? He could play. Go ahead, Diane. You go ahead.
Yeah, you were just talking about team news, weren't you? I've just gone on TNA and it's saying we head to Forest Green tomorrow night aiming to make it 3 wins on the bounce, which we are. Alexander will assess the recovery from the weekend but has no plans to shake things up and has taken the same squad.
Same team then. Get that in your fan up, guys. Same team.
And then he goes, we won't be changing the message too much. We'll analyse what the opposition do, but we want our team to be consistent in how we play. We want our players to feel comfortable in that and not changing week to week depending on the opposition.
So he's took Lewis, has he?
He has taken my Harry.
I wish somebody would take him.
Ooh.
I won't say a
word. Tony, with that comment there, do you not like Harry Lewis? Or is he
no, I love him. No,
you wind up our Diane. Don't wind up our Diane.
He wound me up on Saturday when he said it to me.
Don't mention Rich to Tony. That's what you've got not to do.
Oh, that clown.
We're about Roddy.
Yeah, the amount of arguments me and Tony have had on the fun bus going down to games is about that guy. Wow.
So, going back about loan players, Andy Tubbs-Taylor has sent us one saying, think GA could send all the loan players back to the clubs, to be honest, and bring in his players beside Young and East. And tell me if I'm wrong, guys.
Johnny.
Yeah.
I think he's got to bring his own players in.
But tell me if I'm wrong here, guys, but MK Dons, he actually brought in some decent players, I think. So if someone just wants to fill for a minute. Callie, do you want to chat for 2 minutes, love?
Yeah. Isn't it normally a curse, though, when we get these players back? They're banging goals in for nobody when, do you know what I mean? When they go out to these other teams. And then as soon as they come back to us, it goes stalemate again.
I think it depends how we play them, doesn't it? And how we play, because, oh gosh, what was he called? The last one I went to...
Ian Doyle?
Owen Doyle, yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of didn't play to his strengths. We kind of played him like a target man, which he wasn't. And he couldn't win a header for Toffee, but he obviously scored, went to Swindon, played in a system that suited him, wasn't getting the fans on his back, didn't want to come back. A few weeks ago, I'm sure it was Liam Chu who basically said that he wants to come back. So, like I've said before, his beef was never with the club or the fans, I guess. I think it was like a Hughes thing. So,
it's the expectation as well, isn't it? Obviously,
yes.
I'm sure Jake. I'm sure he's looking at what people are saying. They must do, and the expectation that he's going to come back and be a superstar and that's a lot of pressure, isn't it, for them?
Yeah, but it's like Stan just said. It depends how Swindon are playing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's scored more goals this season than we have altogether.
So
now, is that a thing of is he in the right place at the right time, or is it the system that Swindon playing suits him?
I think the goal I'd seen from Saturday, kind of the ball was put through to him, and he was on the left side, and it's almost like he did what he pretty much did with us, was like coming from the left and score there. I mean, he didn't have to do it too much because he was kind of out almost in a position, but I think that's his game really, and it kind of coming in from the left and basically then going direct and shooting and scoring. He did that for us last season and scored some really good goals.
He did.
So just having a quickly look, going back at the MK Dons players, what Graham Alexander brought in. He's brought in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Brought in about 16 players. Just a summary, he's brought in 2 players in from Charlton on a free transfer. So he's looking there, he's looking at League 2, League 1. Even brought in someone from the Scottish Premier. But then going back and looking at all the things they brought in, they're currently just 1 point above us at the minute. They're 13th in the league. So I think Graham Alexander should do well in the transfer market if he works well with whatever his name is at City, Gent. So just what's people's thoughts on that, in working with Gent, really? Do you think he'll work together or separate, or what's people's thoughts on that?
They have to do, don't they? I mean, Gent's in... his function is to source the players. Graham Alexander, or whoever the manager is, will say, I'm after this sort of player or that sort of player. Maybe he'll have already somebody in mind and he'll kind of go out and find a player. That's probably how it works. So, I can't see Gent being moved on or anything, because there's almost like too much of an investment in that infrastructure being put in. What do you guys think?
Who's Gent?
He was the guy from Middlesbrough who basically, sort of scouts the players and finds the...
right. I see.
Like who kind of... And then it negotiates with, I think, Ryan Sparks and probably the manager with regards to negotiating with players as well. He was... When he was at Middlesbrough, he kind of was I can't remember what role he was. He didn't run it. This is like a step up for him in terms of a hierarchy, but he kept an eye on a lot of the loan players going out from Middlesbrough. So apparently he has a lot of knowledge of this level and things like that. So that was what was being said at the time. So that's I can't see his role or it changing because I think unless there's something really fundamentally wrong based on last season and bits of this season, most of the signings he's got right. Most of the players scouted he's got right because we had a squad that was what went on from the first 13 games from Hughes into the summer and basically sourced a team and a squad that got us into a playoff semi-final. So I think for most part he has got it right, but someone's got it wrong, and that's just the nature of football, isn't it? So
it is.
So on about Stephen Gent, just found this online. He was head of scouting operations at Middlesbrough, and now at Bradford he's head of recruitment. So he's had, like you're saying there, he's had a bit of a promotion, quite a lot of promotion probably.
Do you know what I'd like to see coming in January window? If it's true, the rumours, and I have seen it on Facebook, but I can't remember what I saw it on. Lee Gregory.
Is that the guy from Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, he played it playoff final for Millwall when the beat us 1-0. He's been about a bit.
Didn't he used to play for Halifax Town?
I believe he did.
Yeah, that's where Millwall got him from, wasn't it? Halifax Town.
Yes.
Definitely.
He's played at Stoke as well. He's played at Stoke.
Right, Lee Gregory, Wikipedia.
Forward.
Yeah, he's centre forward.
Yeah,
good player.
He is.
So he started off at Staveley Miners Welfare, Mansfield, Glapwell, Harrogate Town, Halifax Town, Millwall, Stoke, Derby, and Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right. I'll put a question out to you guys, and if anyone else wants to join us, we've got a few listeners. Feel free to join us. You're more than welcome. Your ins and outs. Who would you keep? Who would you move on in January?
Oof, God.
Ooh.
Start with the host.
Oh, pressure. Right. Let me just get my league thing up again. Not league. Here we go. Right. So in net, Lewis, Doyle, and Richardson. With that, obviously, I think we'd need to bring a new goalkeeper in, so that'll be okay there. Keep Halliday, Rydell, keep Ash Taylor, 50-50 for me. Keep Platt. I would get rid of Sam Stubbs. We've got Luke Hendry, keep him. Keep Kelly. Him who's loan at National League, whose name I can't pronounce. He had a bit of a bad game, I think, last time he played. So I would get rid of him. Okey-dokey's going. Harvey Rowe, keep him. Dawson, keep. Lewis Richardson, keep. Jonathan Tompkins, I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
Smallwood, keep. Jamie Walker, keep. Ossie Debe.
No, let him go.
Yeah, because when I've seen him come on, and I've said it in past podcasts, it looks like he's got laggy banged legs. He can run, but then he leaves ball behind and stuff like that. Pattison, I think he's a really good player, but he's been injury
a big
prone.
miss.
Yep.
He's a big miss, is that kid, because he reminds me of Gary Jones.
Keep Gilead. Clark Ordor, keep him, he's improving. Definitely bring back Ryan East. Keep Chapman. Kevin McDonald.
Go.
I need to see more of him play before I decide on that one. Then we've got Freddie Jeffers. I don't think he's really played. Keep Cookie. Keep Tyler Smith. Keep Oliver. Keep Poynton. And then we've got Dylan Nyombe. He's out on loan. I would keep him. Get rid of Matt Derbyshire. I don't think he's good enough. I know he's old. Jake Young, keep him. Adam Wilson, keep him. And then obviously I would get rid of Tolok and Afcon. Get rid of them two, and bring in a better striker. And that's it for me.
I'd pretty much saying there, but then with all them players you're going to keep, it doesn't leave much manoeuvring to bring other players in, does it?
We've got a good squad though. They just need to play well. They need like time to gel and stuff like time to gel. I know it sounds like deja vu, but they're starting to play well. The team. It's just I think we need to get rid of a couple of players, send the loan players back, and then that frees up slots.
I would like to see Young and Cookie as a partnership. See what they can conjure up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Pretty much agree with that.
What about you, Stan? Who would you keep and get rid of?
Okay, so in goal, obviously, no issues there. Defence, Brad, obviously. We've got Matty Platt, obviously, keep him. It'd be a starter for me. I'd keep Taylor because he'll have some stinkers, but he'll have some good games along the way. And as much as dreadful as he was in a couple of the games, I want everybody that's wearing that claret and amber shirt to play well because by default you want them to play well, don't you? So I would keep Kelly. I'll keep Rides and Richards, obviously. There's only probably Paddy I'd let go. I'll bring back Ryan East. And there's not much. The only thing you can imagine is basically with regards to who he sees is going to get a game because that's still quite a big squad.
Mm.
And, you've got all these really good quality players. I mean, I think the centre of midfield, like with Ryan East, and, if Patterson and McDonald are fit, then it's just like we've actually got a bag of riches, we're spoilt for choice in terms of who you'd keep or, the options that you have. And that's a case of keeping players happy. And we are talking.
You still there, Stan?
Yeah, sorry, I just my nephew was just calling me on WhatsApp, so bless. So there's. I mean, it sounds harsh. Just like I would get rid of Paddy. I think. Yeah, it's a difficult one because there may be a game, somewhere down the line where Paddy might come on, for half an hour or whatever and play well. And I would always want every single Bradford City player to play well. And I do believe we have a squad that's good enough.
Stan, do you think Osa Davies' problem is after what happened to him last season in that first game? Do you think it's still affecting him? Because I do.
It could do. I think from memory, listening to feedback, because we got him from Walsall, didn't we? And from memory, the kind of comment was, or the comments were, that he'll have some good games and he'll have some poor games, and I think he's a kind of typical player at this level where it's obviously got some skills to without kind of being too hard on players, or you can't do it because they're obviously good enough to play professional football. So these are sort of like of a level, but what separates these players? Consistency is the biggest thing, really. If these players were consistent to be played at a higher level, but also decision making, and Paddy's kind of got this sort of. He's one of these players that has like he's got that bit of unknown about him, but he doesn't bring that enough into the as many games as you would hope that he would.
You should do.
Yeah. And for somebody with like his basic skill set, but then I don't think he's got a footballing brain. But again, at this level, how many players have? And I think that it's like, how risky do you want to be? Do you want to as a manager, do you want something where you got that little bit of the unknown in your side going forward at the cost of potential dropping clangers, or no, not so much dropping back, etc. So I think that's maybe where you decide as a manager, is that player worth the risk, or worth kind of the, for want of a better way of putting it, negative sides to the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with, like you were saying, footballing brain. When he's on ball, you're thinking to yourself, what's he going to do? What's he going to do with it? And the player's thinking, well, I haven't a fucking clue what he's going to do with it. Where's everybody gone?
Yep, still here, just listening to you, bud.
Tony, I was just messaging my nephew.
That's fine.
Have you got any thoughts on it, Dan, love?
I'd obviously keep Harry.
Oh, I'll keep Harry. Oh, yeah, keep Harry.
Who's taking Ricky Harry there? Definitely keep Harry. I'd probably keep like everybody like you who've said, all the players. But I did hear that Luke Hendry did get injured against Hartlepool. But that's been kept quiet.
Well, he's no great loss anyway.
I know. So, but
he's not
yeah,
going to replace Brad Halliday at that position.
He ain't, is he?
No.
You should definitely keep Brad there and everything. But like, they might send players back that we've got in on loan. But we just have to wait and see. You won't know, will you? But hopefully we'll get Jake Young and Ryan East back.
So I think January is going to be a massive month in it for City, really. Like the good old days where you're refreshing Twitter and stuff like that and just seeing who's coming, who's going, and announcements being made at so-and-so time and stuff like that. Might even bring in a big player, you never know.
So with that then, do you guys think that Alexander will pretty much keep what he's got? Or do you think he'll kind of want to sort of more or less straight away in the first window kind of moving things about? I mean, we don't know, do we? I mean, I've not followed I've not followed his career, so I've not, I don't know really. But, that's the thing, innit? Is he going to stick with the squad and see how it goes? Or is he going to kind of then start to just slowly bring in a few players and maybe let players that he doesn't see fitting into his mould? What do you think?
Have you got any thoughts on it? Sorry.
I think what you've got to remember is he hasn't had, there's only been, how many games has he had now? 3. So is he going to have long enough to look at each and every individual and think, yeah, there's a place here for you, or I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go out and get somebody better? Do you think he's going to have long enough by the time January comes round to I can't think what word. I know what word I'm looking for.
Kind of like assess.
I can't think of it.
What?
Shit.
To ascertain.
Basically, do you think he'll have enough time to weigh the squad up and decide who he wants to keep, and does he want to let anybody go, and who he wants to bring in?
So I think he said in the press conference about the team is too big.
It is.
And Jamie, have you got any thoughts on this? Sorry, I know you've been patiently waiting there.
Yeah, I think he will have. I think most good managers, they will know within 2 weeks which players are going to be in their style, or which players are going to be looking at the way that they want to play football. I think any manager will know that within a couple of weeks. So he will have seen players already, Alexander. I'm sure that he's already thinking, get rid of them in January. He will have seen those players. But I think one player that's not been mentioned, from what I've heard, has been Patterson. Because for me, at the start of the season, he was our highlight. He was one of our highlighted players. I actually thought he was going to be our leading goal scorer, but he seems to be injured. But from what I've heard, the club haven't actually said what's wrong with him. So I don't know. Maybe Alexander could be asked a question in terms of when is Patterson due to be reintegrated into the squad? When's his injury supposed to be cleared up by? But I think, in my opinion, all the loan players will be sent back. Because I don't think any of the loan players we signed at start season have actually done anything to strengthen the squad.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. Because they've not really set anything going of the forward, the players. It's like when we had Banks and Wright, we're like, oh wow, yeah, what can Banks and Wright do? And they're tearing up defences and stuff and petrifying people. But these loan players, they've not really gone wow after they've
panic buys. That's what. Well, panic loans. That's what they were. Panic loans.
Tulloch's been the closest, though. He's
like I said before, Patterson has been a big miss.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
But that's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got that middle three of at the moment now with Smallwood at the base, and you've got Walker and Gilead, both with their energy levels, and Patterson's the same, really. So, say for example, of this, sorry. So of the central midfielders that we've got basically. Let's assume that he's going to keep this formation for quite a bit. You have options, don't you? You've got Walker, you've got Gilead, and then you got
anybody there.
We can hear your tone, Ria.
Oh,
yeah.
It just went bloody dead.
Yeah, it normally happens when we're listening.
Yeah,
I think Patterson has been a big miss, without a doubt, because he was starting to score. But like you say, I don't even know what injury he's got or what injury he picked up. But I thought he would have been back by now.
Well, he was kind of on a bit of a comeback, but I think he broke down, didn't he, or something like that. But I was just, when you were having technical issues there, Tony, I was just saying that. So when we've got, like, assuming we play with three in midfield, and obviously the obvious candidates are the further forward are Gilead and Jamie Walker with Smallwood at the base. There are alternatives, but you kind of think, well, who's going to be that player at the base? I mean, obviously, they would have to do if you like, take one for the team, because the likes of McDonald, Patterson, and Ryan East are players that like to go forward. I would say probably the closest we've got, maybe, who would fit in that mould, would out of the current crop that we've got, is probably Ryan East, who would play that more of a kind of quarterback role within that. But the rest we have, Smallwood aside, are kind of players that we see that they want to go forward with the ball. So I think that's a big conundrum that he's got. And I think that's where we've got the abundance of riches there, really, aren't we, in terms of the quality? Because you've seen Walker get a few goals now. You've seen Gilead, being up there, and then obviously Patterson was scoring goals as well earlier on in the season. So I think it is kind of like, I think, talking about it, he may just keep Ryan East on loan to the end of the season. You don't know, do you? Because you might think, well, I've got enough in that middle. It all depends on how McDonald and Patterson are with their injuries.
At Thornton.
Yep. Has anyone else got anyone else got anything they want to say about the game or transfer activity they would like to see? That's a no. Right. Is anyone okay? Stan's favourite part. Score predictions for tomorrow, Stan.
It's going to be 42-10.
Bloody massive scoring, yeah?
Yep.
You've been watching NFL again?
Yeah, well, I think we're just doing it out of habit now, but yeah, on the fence.
On the fence. Miss Kelly.
The last Forest Green game I went to was the one that Andy Cook was run like the whole pitch. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Kelly
think.
got very giddy there. Yep.
Oh, it was a good game to go to. Those that. I'm going to 2-1 City win tomorrow.
Oh, Callie.
Ooh. Johnny, what's your predictions for tomorrow?
I'll take a sneaky 1-0.
Oh. To who?
Bradford.
Just checking.
Oh, sorry.
Miss Diane.
I was thinking about this. I'm going to go 3-1 to us.
Really?
And
Yeah.
You're going to have Harry conceding?
Yeah, let Harry concede one.
You better not do.
I think you're a traitor there, Diane.
What?
You're a traitor. How can you say that?
Well, 3-0 then.
Yeah, that's better.
I'll change it to 3-0 then.
All right.
Jamie.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's not the nicest stadium to be playing at on a cold winter's evening, so I'm going to go for a 1-0.
Are you going, Jamie?
No, I was thinking about it, but no, it's too far in the midweek.
Has Torchy got a coach on?
No, it's not got a coach on, so there's
Hasn't he got one going?
There's a couple of cars going, and I think Shipley are running a coach, but I think that's about it.
I'm going with Shipley. So,
just a quick question: is anybody going to Wackrow City?
I can say that again. Sorry.
Yeah, who's going to Wackrow City?
What is Accra City?
What's Accra City?
Gillingham.
Oh yeah, I'm going Gillingham.
I may be going to that.
I'm going Gillingham. Right.
I'm not seeing my dad.
So, looking at the league table, I know Forest Green Rovers are right down there. And normally, what does normally happen, Callie, when we normally play bottom of the league?
We normally lose 3-0.
We normally get 3-0 or we lose. So I'm going to be the one who puts the downer on everybody's day. I think we're going to lose 1-0 against Forest Green Rovers tomorrow. And
interesting.
We always lose, Tony, against bottom of the league, bud.
Well,
we get battered.
Got to change.
But we're going well at the minute. The confidence is high, isn't it? That's got to be a plus sign. Absolutely plus sign.
All right, I'm just going to push this button a minute. Right, so before I disappear again, I'm going to just relate what I said this in before we started the podcast this morning. So we had someone who came on the podcast last week, and basically they've been abused. The family have been abused, and it's not right, and it needs to stop. I know us Bradford City fans, we can get along with each other, but sometimes it turns toxic. So if anyone's listening to this podcast and you are trolling people or bullying people or picking on people, it needs to stop, because you can get yourself in trouble if you get caught. There's a lot of keyboard warriors about. I've even been it when I said something stupid at the fan forum. It plays on people's mental health, and it can make people poorly and stuff like that. So it needs to stop. Anyway, moving back on. Everyone, thank you for joining, from Stan, Callie, Tony, Diane and Jamie. Also, if you like what you're hearing, podcast is going to soon be on most of the podcast services. Also, we are on Bradford City Up the Chickens. That's on podcast services, and also Bradford City Up the Chicken on Facebook. And if you like my videos and stuff what are happening, also it's Brace Hodge 1 on YouTube. Wherever you're in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you for listening.
City till I die, I know
Social Podcast Network.